What's up, guys? Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend this weekend. But a lot of different sectors that are kind of throwing out this weekend that looked pretty good to start for the week. But hope everybody's doing well. I know it's going to be a short week this week. If you guys didn't see, I posted it earlier today where we're going to have half a day on Thursday, and then markets will be closed obviously on Friday for Christmas. So Christmas Eve, Thursday, markets are only going to trade to about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So probably be a little bit slow this week, knowing that we got 3 full days between Monday and Wednesday, and then Thursday maybe slow, but just expect a little bit of choppiness. We're hitting all-time highs with SPY and the indexes and everything for the most part, besides IWM, which we'll go ahead and cover some of these plays. I don't have any earnings plays to really cover this week, just due to the fact that there's very little earnings this week. I mean, if you guys are interested in any of the earnings plays, I mean, that's entirely up to you guys. But the ones that were coming out this week were, let me see here real quick. Yeah, like nothing. I'll double check here real quick. If any of them interest you, that is. But going over here to StockTwits, obviously you're using the earnings calendar up here. We've got these stock symbols that I've never traded before. We've got Tuesday, a couple, 3 names there. We've got 1 name on Wednesday, but obviously nothing reporting on Christmas Eve or even Christmas time. So it's up to you guys if you want to check any of this stuff out. I'm not going to be trading none of these at all, so we're not going to even cover them tonight. But it's entirely up to you guys if you feel like you want to. And of course, you guys all know down here in the earnings report channel, they'll get reported down here through Earnings Whisper. But there's a little, screenshot of what is actually reporting this week. So none of these companies I've ever traded, nothing I'm really familiar with. So I don't really want to waste my time tonight, dealing with those per se. There's definitely some catalyst out this weekend that could help the markets to some degree. Markets were actually red after they opened. A 900 billion something dollar COVID relief package or stimulus to that agree is supposedly getting some action. I guess maybe be approved, all that stuff. I don't know what's going on, but I guess we'll see. I let market determine how legitimate something is or not, I guess, depending on how it affects my market. But markets were red after that all came out. Now it's starting to slowly grind back to green here. It's not really green. I mean, it's up a little bit, but this could all change tomorrow morning. So, like I said, be very cautious tomorrow as far as how we're going to trade the market. I'm probably going to sit out for the most part unless I see a setup. I just cannot hold back, and I'm just going to go ahead and take it. But I'm going to treat this week very cautiously. Okay, I like the money. I've done very well this year. I'm not pushing to try to make pennies out of something that's just not worth my time. But the sectors that are getting hot, we're going to go ahead and cover them. I did post them on the Twitter page if you guys are interested on some of those sectors. Some of the key charts that look set up for me, they're posted right here, down here in this section. We've got our banks, we've got our EV electric vehicle sector, and then the charging sectors. I could have added SBE to this, which is another one I'll throw in there. But we've got solar, cybersecurity. You guys all knew how fast FEYE flew Friday, and I want to thank Ben tonight. He posted a watch list. I was going to go start doing some research after I got done with my charts this afternoon. He threw up that watch list. So appreciate that, Ben. It definitely saved me some time having to go through and try to find some stuff. But I went through that list, and these are kind of the favorite ones that I saw out of there. And actually, quite a few of these actually flew pretty hard. Besides FEYE on Monday or Friday, I mean. So I don't know how well the options did. We'll go ahead and check that in a minute here. But it is pretty awesome to see, that cybersecurity is something that apparently is going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on. So we'll go ahead and take a look at some of these charts. And if you guys get any questions, throw it in the Zoom chat there. Sure to try to answer them for you. Uncle Float, any OTC runners, trips to pennies? Not that I know of yet, buddy. LRSV is a promo. It's one I'm going to be helping out with tomorrow. So if you guys see me tweeting about LRSV, just understand it is a promo. It is apparently getting some kind of deal worked out with Chewy. So it's legitimate from what I can tell. So I mean, it's pretty cool, I guess. But just understand it is a promo, but it's actually a promo to a private holder. It's not actually a diluter or anything. So this guy just wants market awareness because he's holding a large amount in LRSV, and he just wanted to pay me to give a little awareness on my Twitter page so other people can see the action, I guess, on it. But it is not a diluter, so it should be fine on LRSV. I guess tomorrow we'll see what happens. But apparently it is working with Chewy. Freaky fast. What was the cybersecurity list again? Sorry, I completely missed it. We'll cover it here. It is on the Twitter page, Freaky Fast. But Ben threw it up there in the chat room earlier today. Let me see if I can find it again. There we go. This entire list. I'll go ahead and make sure you guys got this list. And I will go ahead, everyone with the link, share it, copy it, and I'll post it in the room there so you guys have this list if you guys want to look at it a little bit closer there. Okay, it's in Elite Chat. You guys will see it in there. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and cover some of these plays, and if you guys got questions, we'll go from there. But airlines, I'm a little bit interested on this. If you guys notice, I threw some news out there today. Actually, the news was kind of getting a little interesting on Friday or even Thursday a little bit. It's being talked about through the whole stimulus package that airlines were going to get some kind of relief as far as stimulus as well to kind of help bring back employees and such. So that's got my interest a little bit. It was a little interesting, but it did not affect the market at all Thursday and Friday when they were being talked about Thursday. But apparently it's being reiterated today. So we'll see if airlines get action. I'm going to be watching them tomorrow. Of course, I know American Airlines is a cheap one. If I click on after hours here, we notice that American Airlines did go green in after hours Friday. I turned it off. We obviously had a red day on Friday, red day Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we'll see if that actually turns around. Maybe potentially get some plays out of this. You know, the options are super cheap on this. So I really want to watch this one. It has been a good payer if you guys like options that are, in the 50-cent range or so. American Airlines has always been pretty phenomenal with that. So to see that come back around, let's say you want to play close to the money on this one too, by the way, like $17, 17.5. I don't go stretching it to like 20 or something. You're gonna risk losing some money on that if you go too far. Sure, they're only 6 cents, but it's too far. They won't get near the attention of gains as the ones that are really close to the money here. So they're super cheap, $17 Friday expiration, 36 cents, 38 cents. You've got almost 16,000 in volume. That Theta is only 4.5 cents, and the Delta is 38. I mean, that's insane. So if American Airlines gets any activity and starts breaking some of these upper levels, I'll probably throw it on the watch list tomorrow morning. I want to see what it looks like in pre-market. I want to see how these futures look like in pre-market before just, saying, hey, this is an alert. Let's go ahead and play it. But if it start breaking Friday's highs, I know that reversal could be happening here. You know what I mean? That we've been on a little bit of a downtrend here. So if these candles are short and we start getting a reversal or follow this trend line right here or something like that, it could be good. So may need a little more time if they don't get really much effect off that news about the 15 billion in stimulus. Then maybe it's not worth a play. Okay, so being a short week, it will be interesting. I'll be watching Boeing, anything to do with this airline sector to see if they get any kind of activity from it. So I like that sector this week. It just has my interest on it, and we'll kind of play from there. Of course, the main stocks like Apple, not really seeing any interest right now. Big sell-off on Friday, but I keep them up here just because I like to watch them. AB&B is putting in some work, okay? I had an IPO back on December 10th here, I guess 10 days ago, and it's fallen off pretty massively. Now seems to be wanting to come back. It is not a lot of chart, and you guys know I don't like to play the first couple weeks on IPOs, but the options have been pretty phenomenal on this one. So I want to watch this one carefully. I think I've got it charted here on the 1 hour chart. I'll go back to it there. Yeah, I've got it charted here on the 1 hour chart. It is slowly coming back. It seems to be climbing. If we start breaking these opening highs, then we know people that have invested here at the opening stages of the IPO are going to automatically be in the green and such. So may entice new buying in that opportunity to be like, okay, hey, I wasn't wrong about the play. It just dipped hard, but here, let's go ahead and go again. So this I want to kind of compare to Snow in a little bit to agree, because Snow had the same scenario when it first IPO'd. It shot up real hard at first in the very early stages. Right here, if we go back to the very early stages, we had a shoot up and then we went sideways and down. But overall, this one's come back pretty strong. Go back to the daily chart. Never mind. It had a big day on the first day and then came all the way back down this following day and then bounced around for a couple days there. Finally came back up, back down, back down. So it took a while for snow to really grab some ground. Okay. And this is obviously every day. This is daily candles. So finally got some ground here. It looks like about 2 months later. So about 2 months later, we finally got a chart that is building. Okay. All this whiplash through this scenario right here is not really much chart. And that's why I like to give IPOs a little bit of time before they start building a chart and we finally can have a trend. Okay. This is not a trend. This is a bunch of, buyers and sellers just selling to each other. So it's hard to play options at that. So A, B, and B out. Like I said, I want to pay attention to this. See how much chart decides to start building. It may take a couple weeks as well on this one. Excuse me. So we'll see what happens. Lockheed Martin today. Okay, I want to throw this ticker out here. I've never traded it. I don't think it's going to be a trade tomorrow, but I want to go ahead and throw it out there if you guys want to throw it on your watch list. They're buying this company outright for like $4.4 billion, which comes to $56 a share in cash. Okay, Lockheed Martin is buying this Aerojet Rocketdyne Holdings company. So right here is probably where we're going to gap up in the morning. Okay, my guess is when these buyouts happen, it's going to pretty much go straight to where the buyout price per share is going to roughly run you at. Okay, that's where the stock is valued at according to what Lockheed Martin is willing to pay for it. You guys know the whole scenario of what happened with CRM and work. Okay, CRM was the buying company. What happened to CRM? It fell. Okay, it dropped. That's probably what's going to happen to Lockheed Martin, which is LMT. LMT is not one that you want to trade here in a set. So Lockheed Martin could probably drop a little fraction or so. And then, of course, AJ, whatever it is, the other ticker there is going to get some interest, AJRD. So watch that whole entire effect right there. Lockheed Martin most likely drop, and this will most likely fly up to near that $56 mark, probably in pre-market or very quickly. So it's probably not an options trade. I'll give you an idea kind of what happened with work here. CRM was buying work, and this is what happened. They announced it during the middle of the day, so you were actually able to trade it. What sucks about Lockheed Martin and the Aerojet rocket here is that they're announcing it on Sunday night, and market's not even trading yet. So with that being said, it's going to gap up. But with this scenario right here, they alerted an open market that they were buying work for $30 billion. And as you see right here, it shot all the way up here to near that share price. And what is it doing right now? Okay. Literally gets there and just goes flat. Okay. No trades whatsoever during this flat period at all. Okay. So my guess tomorrow with AJRD, it's going to do the exact same thing. Big gap up to that $56 range and then be flat. Okay. Gets up here and then it's just going to trade sideways for a flat period. So don't be inclined to just buy calls just because they're buying it tomorrow. Okay. See how the chart wants to act. See how the gap up is reacting. Is it going to gap down? Is it going to gap up? Is it going to, start selling off after that gap up? So like I said, it's just a play of interest tomorrow. If it wants to actually run away from the gap, or maybe let's say it gaps up to $50 and then starts running up towards the $56 mark, there might be a play there. Okay. But if we gap up right at that $56 a share, I'm just going to shake my head like, yeah, whatever. Why pay more than what it's worth? So at that instance, it's more likely not a trade. But thought I'd throw it out there for interest. AMD, not really seeing much of a trade here. We did have a big fallback on Friday. But the good fact about this is they did push that candle back up towards closing, which puts in the strength that the demand is still there on AMD. Tech sector has been kind of been meh lately, nothing crazy, but did fall really hard here, and then they pushed it back up. So like I said, I'm probably not touching tech sector right now just due to the fact that other sectors are much hotter. But if this gets any traction, maybe it'll be a play again. But for right now, I think it's just a sit and watch situation. Amazon, everybody's thinking really bullish on Amazon. Everybody's thinking bearish on Amazon. Right now, Amazon is neutral to me. I don't really see a lot of strength. I was hoping we'd actually break it out of here Thursday, which made it a trade for me Thursday. But due to the fact it'd be breaking this previous high, I love that. I love those previous high strength breaks. But we did pop it briefly, only to kind of fail it. Okay, so Friday came all the way back down. It's in a channel right now. This trade, Amazon may not be a trade to like, January sometime. So a lot of good future, obviously, for Amazon. Just as a day trader, it's a frustrating trade for options. ATVI has kind of been on my watch list too. It has been, grinding on up here. It seems to be completely keeping going. Activision, the Blizzard. This is the whole gaming industry for any of you guys that are into the gaming. So to see this thing keep pushing up does not show any sign of weakness yet. Okay. So on the daily charts, you guys can play this if you want to. We'll break 90.63. If we get above that, you're going to start shooting for this target, then this target, and so on. So a candle like that tomorrow wouldn't be surprising, okay, at all. So one to watch tomorrow. It could be a potential play. Of course, you want to play pretty close to the money here. Maybe some $95 options, I think, are a little bit far, but I'll take a look at what they look like here. So $95, I'm probably inclined to do 92s. Yeah, see, there's still low volume options. Man, it's just too low. It's not attractive, okay? But if you guys with smaller accounts, want to only buy a few contracts at a time, it may not make much difference there. You just got to be very careful on it. But I do like how the chart's building. Boeing again, since airlines are hot, I'm going to pay attention. There's money to be made in Boeing, especially if it does get some momentum. But if it doesn't, I'm just going to peace out on it. Bank of America, okay? JP Morgan announced that they were doing a $30 billion buyback Friday night and after hours, okay? After the markets closed Friday, they announced it. So, of course, it's got the banks all excited, I guess, doing some buybacks. Right now, you see what happened on Friday, but I turn on after hours. There's your candle, okay? Look at that. This is where we're at in after hours on Friday. So, we're already gapped up, okay? And these banks will no doubtly come up here and get pretty hot, maybe see some new highs. I don't know. JP Morgan, I rather trade than Bank of America, but I'll trade Bank of America if it calls for it. But look at that chart. I mean, it looks good in after hours. We'll see how those targets look up here. I'm probably going to throw some Fibonacci lines up through here, get a little action as far as what is actually happening there. There's our targets. So we'll kind of see exactly how these areas go. We'll see 29s, 29.74, 30. 30, 30, 52. And we'll see exactly how, we closed right at that 29.74 in after hours. So we'll see if we start breaking these levels. It could be a play tomorrow if that strength wants to continue there, being after hours is going up. But like I said, guys, gaps, got to be careful on the gaps. If it gaps up so tremendously, then it most likely, not all the time, but most likely may sell off. Okay. It may sell off after opening and try to fill its gap, or it may actually hold tight and continue going too. Okay. But giving it that first 30 minutes after open is pretty important, in my opinion. Kind of see how they play out. BIDU, it's got my attention due to the fact that it's way up here, so I'm keeping it on my list this week. Blink has been phenomenal. Getting a lot of hate on Twitter with Blink, some clown over here on I guess he's from what's the bear stock? Where's the bear company? It's always going bearish on everything. Let me see if I can find the stuff here. See what he was saying. Trying to pretty much blast the stock and saying, "Oh, they're losing money. It's trash. This and that." I really don't care. Some research company from Citron. That's what it is. Yeah, Citron. So some idiot from Citron comes over here on my page today and starts blasting my watch list for this week, which was my sector watch list. I find it comical, so I like to entertain these guys a little bit. Okay, where I was saying different sectors to watch out for this week, and he gives the bold statements to start blasting it. EV sector, Cheney, you're missing the biggest one. Blink is a fraud with just 163K in charging revenue. And of course, I gave him the whole piece that I really don't care what it looks like on paper as long as it's making money. The chart looks good. Everything is demanding. The market is demanding. This guy's obviously doesn't care about making money. He's just about trying to call out fraud alerts on everything because he's bashing it here with Citron. So with that being said, these guys at the end of the day, they're not making money. They're just trying to prove a point that they're right and everybody else is wrong. And, I would hate to be in that situation, to be where I'm, dissing everything and the stock is going up and you're just drowning in loss after loss after loss trying to short the thing. So I pity people like that, but hey, by all means, do what you got to do there, I guess, to whatever he's trying to prove. Uh, but anyway, don't fight the trend, guys. Don't go playing short just based off of some crazy material on Twitter saying that the CEO is a fraud. For all I know, he could be. I have no clue. Okay. I'm not here to say he's right and I'm wrong, or I'm right and he's wrong. Okay. But what I'm saying is price action will literally drown out any negative impact on due diligence that these companies and so on try to do. We've been playing this sucker since what, $7? It's been crazy. Yeah, $7 down here. Excuse me, back in October. So those guys are losing their ass, and they have every right to try to come out and try to bash it because they're trying to play the opposite of what's actually happening here. And we're what, 36? We hit 39 up here. That's like what? 14, 21, 27, 34. It's like 400% over what these clowns are, they're losing. It's over 400% from the lows. I mean, that's nasty. So we're up 400% while they're over still crying over their tears about how bad the CEO is. But what it is, what it is. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. But with that being said, we'll see exactly what happens here. I love the strength that Blink has been putting in. EV sector is going to be hot today. I know it's old news. There was stuff that was coming out this weekend about Biden planning to open 500 or something like that charging stations. That's old news. That's been out for a little bit, but it's being repushed out there again. So with that being said, I think it's going to drive the EV sector a little bit here. It's going to drive the charging companies to some degree. When maybe new investors think of that as new news, and it could possibly grab in some more attention here. So we'll see what happens. That's the future for EV. EV is nothing but up, in my opinion. With the next couple years, we got countries, we got states that are in the talks of banning gasoline powered vehicles going to electric. So I can't throw this stuff out. I can't throw that and say, hey, my opinion is this, my opinion is that. The CEO's a fraud, whatever. I don't care. Okay, the stock is pointing up. The demand for this market, the demand for this sector is pointing up. If Plug's going to go up, I'm expecting Blink to do the same. Okay. So if that being said, it's very important to play the trend, guys. Very important. Chris H says they're trying to trade fundamentals. If there's anything I've learned this year about fundamentals is that public sentiment wins every time. Now is a time for fundamental trading. A lot of confidence in the market due to vaccine, regardless of tickers. Yeah, that's true to some degree. But yeah, it's interesting to see how that sentiment is very demanding for this sector. It's a good point. So we'll see exactly how this happens, and we'll see exactly how we keep crushing these numbers. If the pullback's there, be ready for it, okay? We were playing Penn and D-King last week as well, and Ohio, I guess, got a stumbling block as far as being able to prove the whole betting thing, and that dropped it pretty dramatically. So some of these stocks, they're at all-time highs. They're a little bit delicate. They're a little bit sensitive, anything that gets negative impact as a kind of a disfall on the companies, I guess, will bring them down to some degree. So excuse me, still fighting this cold, but yeah, we'll have to pay attention to it and see exactly what happens with them. Yeah, it's the Rona. I'm fighting this Rona, guys. I don't know what the fuck I got, but I'm fighting something. Anyway, CBAT, I'm just watching this one too because it's in this energy sector as well. Chewy has been nuts. Okay, I don't know where the top is on this thing. I don't know where, and it decides to reverse. But hey, Chewy is Chewy. Okay, it just keeps on going up. So we'll see exactly how it reacts this next week. So I'm keeping it on the list for now. CLSK, okay, Clean Spark Energy or Clean Spark. I think this is part of the battery sector as well. So with Blink, Plug, you start seeing this stock moving up too. It's kind of coming out of the woodwork. We've talked about this one earlier on, and we were playing it. It's been in the alerts for a while. So pay attention to this one. I don't think this one's done yet. It did make a nice new high, all-time high on Friday. If our strength continues to go up here, I'm going to start looking for these breaks of highs and next targets and so on. So pay attention to it. I think there's still green to come out of this, but like I said, being a very short week, being a lot of vacationers out there, people taking off for the year pretty much. We got to play careful because volume could be low. Okay. When volume's low, that's death to options. D King, we just talked about it briefly here, but that drop from Ohio definitely did significantly impact it to some degree, but it didn't destroy the chart. But I'll be watching it. I don't see strength here. That there is still weakness on Friday. They did try to push it back up, but as a whole, it did kind of engulf Thursday's move. So with it engulfing Thursday's move, it could easily throw in another red candle tomorrow, red candle on the following day, and so on before it decides to finally reverse again. Or there could be strength there tomorrow. But right now, it's kind of a neutral candle. So I don't want to give this bullish or bearish yet. But trend is obviously still very bullish. But just a brief pullback, it could be still there. You just have to be careful on the Facebook. I only watch it because it's sector related to SPY. Um, FCell, okay. FCell is looking really good tonight. A lot of buzz floating around on social media right now with this one, with some of the pump groups and so on. Um, they love to play this one for some reason, but hey, as an options trader, I like trading this one too. It's been pretty good. It's been paid off more than enough on me. Several many trades that I've done on this one, but it closed up really nice on Friday. It's looking healthy. It's looking strong. This is kind of the green clean energy sector, so to speak. So it kind of plays along with EV and the battery charging sectors and all. So it does kind of play with that. So I kind of want to categorize them in a sense to the same sector, but not quite. It is pushing very nicely though, so want to keep this one on watch because a lot of eyes are on this one. Fastly, not really any trade on this one yet, but it's got my attention due to the fact that we've got this massive gap that we're well on our way to continue filling. So just watching it for the week, it may not even be a play at all this week. FUV, this is another EV play. It had a nice neutral candle Thursday and a neutral candle Friday. Shows that buyers and sellers are kind of in between each other here. But what's nice about it is an inside candle on Friday, making that the move was smaller than Thursday. Like I said, the tighter these candles get, the bigger the breakouts are. So we'll see exactly how this happens if we break out tomorrow or not. But if we break out, I'm going to look at this 14-15 area right here. Okay. You break that, and then we're going to start looking at the previous highs right here to break those. Then that one, and then this one. Okay. This may be target number 3, it may be number 2, depending on how fast it starts breaking through these previous highs. And then we'll start going to this one, then the $16 target, and so on. But it's setting up to make a powerful move. So don't put FUV out of the question. This one looks ready. It looks very close to ready. Goldman Sachs, just watching it with the bank sector. I don't think this one got. Yeah, it did. Never mind. After hours did get some much. A nice big candle there Friday after hours off that J.P. Morgan news. I just threw an after hours there, but this is what it looked like on Friday. Came all the way back, and then plenty more on after hours. So we'll watch it. Could be potential plays, but that gap up could easily sell off tomorrow morning. JKS has broken out of a pretty nice channel so far. Actually, I need to throw on another trend here just due to the fact that we're kind of bouncing on this area right here. We'll see exactly what that looks like. Okay, looking pretty good there. So for the most part, we are pushing off. We did see this 56.37. I was about to alert this one Friday. Kind of overlooked it, like, it may need another day. The reason why I got my interest was the inside days, exactly like Thursday and then Friday. Or, I mean, this was Wednesday and this is Thursday, okay? So those inside days, the shorter those candles get, the bigger the breakouts, okay? And it did put a nice substantial breakout on Friday. So we'll see how that momentum carries over into this next week. But this is solar powered. This is a sector that is getting a lot of eyes right now. Anything to do with green energy, electric, solar power, things of that nature is grabbing attention. So can't ignore some of these plays and setups. JMIA, okay, this is the South Africa of Amazons, or the Amazons of South Africa, or whatever type plays. A lot of the Baba plays of China. It's kind of the same sector. I haven't been paying too much attention to this play. I've played it quite a few times. It has been on the watch list, but it's not been high up there. And I know some of you guys have been following it pretty closely. This thing has been pretty insane. I mean, we were dealing with lows down here in the $7 range in October, and then back in the $11 range here in November 10th. I mean, to see this come all the way up here to $40 and plus, who am I to say that it can reach 50s and 60s? I mean, we'll see. It is pretty abstract to see this thing move, keep on moving. So watch this one closely. We could start breaking these levels tomorrow. Breaking 45, 46, 48, and so on is kind of where I'm shooting on. So a nice candle like that tomorrow all the way to 46s wouldn't surprise me at all. Most likely, if I do play this one, I'm going to grab the $45 calls for Friday. And I'll give you a little estimate of what those look like. Oh, never mind. We've got January 15th as as close to expiration we can get. So you probably want to play some 45s for January. 440 on bid, 460 on ask. You could probably get away with 50s. Yeah, 50s ain't terrible. 3,900 in volume, so they're not terrible. You could play the 50s, I think. Getting beyond that may be a little skim. 60s actually ain't terrible. I mean, you're giving yourself a whole month of expiration there, so it's actually not bad. You might can get away with 60s. It's a little stretch in my opinion, but you could probably get some action there. That delta though is only 20 cents. The 50 or the 45s are 49 cents. So I'm over doubling my money on my 45 than you would be your 60. So I'll give you some example there. I'm more than doubling. 50s, I'm going more than the 60s, but not quite as much as the 45s. So I'll probably stick with the 45s. But for some of you guys who are a little cheap, sometimes you could probably get away with those and still make okay. It's just you're going to need quite a bit of move to make near as much money. As the 45s would. JP Morgan. Speaking of banks, guys, I'll throw that after hours on. You'll see this candle, but this is what we look like on Friday. I throw an after hours on. Boom, big green candle here. So we'll see exactly how we keep pushing up. But like I said, pay attention to those gap ups. We could easily sell off or bleed down, so to speak, on tomorrow or the rest of the week. This may be already priced in. So just beware of that. LI, another stock that's got my interest due to the EV sector. It's been down here for a while. It's kind of been trading sideways down here. I love to find cheap opportunities on some of these sectors that have blown up and then pulled back and then consolidated right here. So if EV sector takes off tomorrow due to the whole charging stations things and this sector just looking good, this could easily start its reversal back on up here. Okay, so pay attention to this one. I could be talking to you guys on Wednesday and you're like, yeah, I never bought it, Mike, when it was down there in the 30s and it's, knocking on 40s already. It's like, well, there was the opportunity, you could have grabbed some LI, and it does have some decent options too. We'll go ahead and take a look at those real quick. December 24, she'd probably get away with 32s. Yeah, they're a little cheap. 35s. Yeah, real cheap. Okay, they're a little spready. You just got to be careful with it because obviously the stock hasn't reversed yet, but that implied volatility is not terrible. Yeah, this one's definitely not bad at all, 69%. If you can get somewhere in there, the cheap area, and the stock starts to reverse, you'll be in good shape on that. But since it hasn't really reversed yet, these options are a little spready. But when it starts grabbing traction, these options will definitely start flying in your favor. So watch that one carefully tomorrow. Lulu's had a pretty good run last week. Thursday was absolute beastly. Nice little pullback on Friday, but you'll want to watch this one with Piton and NLS is the other one, I believe. NLS, yeah, down here. Piton and Lulu are kind of in that same exercise bike sector or exercise period type sector. So athletics, things of that nature. We'll see exactly how this one pushes through, but it's near those highs again. I mean, it's knocking on them. I can actually throw up a trend line from the high here down to right there, and you could see exactly how we start crushing through that upper trend line. But overall, it looks good, so I'm not going to throw it out just yet. LUV is Southwest Airlines, throwing this on with the airline sector as well. What's got my attention is we're consolidated. What did I say? Inside candle, inside candle, inside candle. Look at this. We got 4 inside candles. I mean, this is nuts. This one's a big candle. This one gets shorter. This one gets shorter. And this one gets even shorter. What is that telling me into tomorrow? That's telling me big breakout candle, most likely tomorrow, okay? If airlines are getting attention with these shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter candles, it tells me that the buying and the selling are pretty much breaking even, and one side has to give. Okay, and most likely it could be the sell side. You got zebra flag, which is red, green, red, green, red, green. But we'll see exactly how that does. Most likely could push up if airlines get a traction. So I'm gonna watch LUV tomorrow. I haven't traded this one in a long time for options, but you guys can take a look at these options and decide if it's something that you like. So probabilities, if let's say we break the 46.45, maybe a $48 call for Friday would do you pretty good. They're 30 cents, 35 cents, 26 cents. Low volume, low open interest, low volatility. Delta is actually not terrible. So just keep that in mind. These are going to be slow players. They're super cheap, a little spready right here because we haven't decided where we're going to do yet. Okay. The buyers and the sellers are kind of on the sidelines here wondering what's going to happen. But with these short candles, and we're staying above this particular trend line right here, tells me that we could easily bounce up and start breaking some of these upper levels. Okay. So in my opinion, I feel like buyers have a little bit more control right here than the sellers. So just keep that in mind. Demand is there and supply is running out. Going back to the next one's Microsoft, just watching it due to the fact it's a SPY contributor. MU, another tech stock I just keep on watch, but no play there yet. Netflix, yeah, it's done pretty good. I'm just not a huge fan of it right now. The strength has not really put insane moves just for that. I'm just not my personal preference, I guess. Maybe I'm being too picky, but it's there. Okay, it's definitely pushing up. If it breaks back above some of these levels, I may get excited about it. But for some reason, I'm just not really feeling Netflix. But we could see what kind of action starts happening here. We are starting to push up to some other highs up here. So I'm not going to throw this out the gate yet, but I'm going to keep it on the watch list due to the fact that it has been holding strength. It's just the demand is not quite as strong as I would like. Neo, this is a top play that you guys all love with the EV sector as well. We've had an entire week of reversal. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday we were $39. Friday we hit 47. Okay, that's a pretty significant move for anybody who bought the dip on Mondays or Sundays review when we were reviewing Neo last Sunday. Okay, so this Sunday I'm going to say we're going to probably continue. Okay, EVs I think are still hot. So we may continue grinding up. Who knows how much with this, but just watch this one, I think, as we continue higher, in my opinion. NLS, same sector as this is Nautilus Group, same sector as Lulu and Piton. Okay, it is getting some kind of reversal. So I'm watching it. Not really a huge fan on this just yet. But we start breaking some of these, reversal areas, start putting higher highs. You guys know I love to buy strength. I hate buying weakness for calls. So right now it's kind of in limbo, but it starts pushing up here and breaks it up into strength. It's going to catch my interest. NVIDIA, just watching it as a tech sector play. Nothing there yet. Penn, same sector as Piton, okay? Or LC, what is the other one? LCI, LCA, or something like that. That's a SPAC play. We'll see what this one does. That Ohio news kind of did affect it to some degree. So we'll see exactly how we hold up right here and maybe pulled back down, maybe continue. We'll see. But I know there's a huge lot of future growth for these companies. A lot of states haven't approved yet. So I know there's upside to come on these. So I'm not throwing it out. Last week was insane. Okay. We were talking about the stock being a $75 stock last Sunday. Okay, guys, this was in last week's review as well. And where are we at now? We're at 91 from 75. So to see those options have made a significant move from last week, have been nothing but shy of what we're doing here. But you could literally have played it all week and would have banked off some calls. But we kept playing this as a day trade, and they did not disappoint. Pick, this is another EV stock. You guys see exactly how it closed on Friday. This did get pumped in after hours due to the fact that Jim Cramer was pumping it on CNBC. And of course, Zach Attack and all of his clowns were literally, shouting and screaming about it too and memifying it. Let's go ahead and throw the after hours clock on there and see what happened. Oh boy, nice push. Okay, we jumped all the way up here from $15 to 18. Looks good. I love a good pump. We'll see exactly how this massive gap up is going to treat us tomorrow morning if we continue to push higher, continue to go sideways, fall off a little bit. I don't know. Okay. So you got to be careful of these. This is still a SPAC play. Okay. This is not a definite play. If you guys want to go through the SPAC list over here, we still got it in our SPAC channel right here. And you guys can take a look at it. I think they're having a shareholder meeting on December 21st, which is tomorrow. Okay. Let's say that's good. So Cramer and that are all pumping it out about it, but shareholder meeting to approve the business combination with XL Fleet. Okay. I follow them on Twitter right now. You guys can go take a look at XL Fleet, which is, let's see if I can pull it up right here. And this kind of gives you an idea of what they are. Okay. Save money, green your fleet. It's a certified powertrain technology for commercial vehicles. It slashes fuel costs and emissions without impacting operations. So they're literally making the common vehicles into electrified vehicles. Okay. So right here, XL Fleet expands electrification solutions portfolio to the Ford F-550 chassis to meet strong customer demand. So they're making these buses into electric vehicles. Okay. So instead of being a company that makes their own electric vehicles, they're literally electrifying or making these vehicles hybrid type. Okay. So watch this stock. I think it has got a lot of potential. It's interesting to me to see how companies like this can do that. Pretty much turning these, basic common gasoline, diesel fuel vehicles into an electric concept is kind of interesting. Okay, so there's reason to pump it here. There's reason to get excited about it. It is still an $18 stock. We could be looking at this next week and we're knocking on 25 or we're knocking on 30, by Wednesday or the following week. So like I said, don't throw this play out. I do love the potential on this one. I've got a lot of commons in this one down here in the $10 range. I alerted this one to Kriegs and JSB, hell, quite a few months back. I want to say back in October or something like that. So we've all been keeping eyes on this stuff and it looks interesting. There's a lot of potential for these EV sectors that are just kind of coming out, but there's a lot of these that are actually just kind of in the woodworks of just wanting to get noticed because they're in that sector. So play close attention to them. You wanna know what's going on there. But I do like pick. Planner looked like we were in good hands to reverse right here on Thursday. It got dropped all the way back down due to these price downgrades. I hate the fact that Planner is just getting beat up by short sellers and analysts and things of that nature. The way I look at it is haters always love a good thing. So let the haters hate and watch this thing reverse. This one is going to be a very strong stock next year, I do believe. So this one is in high demand. I've got some long positions on this sucker all the way down here, back in the $10 and $11 range. I've been hanging on dearly. I have no anticipations of selling this thing. I'm not holding options, but I do hold commons. But in anticipation of some strong moves on this one, I do feel strongly convinced that this will be a $50+ stock next year. So don't throw it out completely. There is very good potential for Planner. It's just going to be a while before that actually takes place. Plug, I like Plug. This is battery sector with Blink. I think it was Plug. Wasn't it Plug that said something to the fact that they were making charging stations for Walmart, I believe? Or maybe it was the roadside charging stations where like there are stoplights or things of that nature that they were doing it. I forget when it was, but they, oh yeah, right here. Plug Power extends into e-commerce space with Walmart. Okay, that's pretty incredible. People that come to Walmart, they want to do their shopping. Walmart's one of the biggest retailers in the world, and they come to Walmart. They want to plug in their little vehicle, their little Nissan Leaf or whatever you want to call them, and their little parking spot there, and plug them suckers in. They go do their shopping. Okay, so that's interesting. Wherever you can throw a Plug Power or something like that, it could be pretty phenomenal for the future, I guess. But that's going to bring business. That's going to bring extra revenue. It's going to bring a interesting concept to all these retailers that say, hey, Plug, we need some charging stations. I think that'll help drive traffic to our locations, our destinations and our shopping centers and things of that nature. So of course it's business for them. It's business for the other companies due to the fact that, more people love the luxury and the convenience. Okay. It's convenient. They don't, it's convenient to go charge your little thing up at wherever you may decide to shop at or eat at or whatever it may be. So Plug Power got commons in this thing. I'm hanging on to them as well. This is another strong stock that I think is in the making of being something pretty significant in 2021. To be $50 stock won't really surprise me. Okay. Um, Flat belt, my 1986 Escort doesn't have a charging port. Well, the good news is flat belt. You can probably go to Pick, and they'll make it. They'll put you a charging port in there, buddy. All right. Oh, Piton. So Piton, 1986 Escort. What the hell are you driving one of them for? Ain't that one of those cars that have the little I'm gonna call them pop up eyeball headlights, whatever, in the front end. I think those cars have them.
I have no idea. I was just being funny.
Kind of like the old Pontiac Firebirds, the pop up headlights.
There you go. Old Corvettes got them.
Yeah, the old style cars. I thought that was unique. One, if the eyeballs weren't working, one would work and one wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that too many times. Yeah, Piton. This is another sector stock, obviously, guys, with NLS and Lulu. This thing has been on a roll. I mean, we've been pushing from 117s all the way up here to 140s, all time highs for Piton. So it is pretty amazing to see this thing keep pushing up. I don't know how high this thing will go. I mean, to see 150s, maybe 160s, probably wouldn't be surprising. It's got good shape to possibly get to those levels, but definitely watch this one. It does give you good play opportunities. Options do get a little spready on it. They are a little bit more on the pricier side for some of you guys that don't like pricey options, but it is a play with good potential. Now, PayPal. PayPal, in my opinion, is got a lot of upside for next year. Okay, what's helped them a lot this year is they're constantly trying to go for the consumer demands. Okay, what I mean by that is they've added Bitcoin to their criteria. I literally can go to my PayPal app on my phone and trade freaking Bitcoin. Okay, so let's say I transfer money to my PayPal account and say, hey, I want to buy Bitcoin. You guys can do that. You can trade freaking Bitcoin on a PayPal app on your phone. It's pretty insane. It's almost like a brokerage account on the PayPal. And of course, buy and sell stuff with Bitcoin on PayPal. I mean, it's convenience versus having all these little funky wallets for all these little Bitcoin names you never heard of or you're skeptical about or whatever it may be. You can feel a little bit more safer with PayPal, I feel like, more so than any of the others out there. So it's interesting. It's good to see companies innovate, rethink outside the box, do something that the consumer is demanding or wanting more convenience of or accessibility. I guess Bitcoin has got very limited accessibility. It's hard, it's hard to trade it. It's hard to get your little wallets and all this to want to play with it. It's not as convenient. Other people are, scratching their heads how to do it. Um, so of course, Bitcoin being hot, it adds a little extra upside to PayPal, I feel like. So watch this one. I do love the strength that PayPal is coming up. It is putting some strength due to the fact of that entire feature that they've added. So I think there's a lot of upside to be seen on this one if Bitcoin continues to keep momentum. Of course, Riot plays light along with Bitcoin, so one to watch as well. RMG, okay, this is another SPAC play that has been doing pretty well, okay? I've got some commons on this sucker too, around that, I think is $11 or $12 range down here. And this thing right here has been doing very well as well, okay? It's pushing higher. We're back in the $20 range. If I'm not mistaken, let me go back here and see when they're having their shareholder meeting. I think it's coming up here. Yeah, December 28th. So we got some time here. Next Monday, not tomorrow, but the following Monday. So they're having a shareholder meeting to approve business combination with Romeo Systems. So if you guys want to do a little due diligence on what Romeo System is, then by all means feel free to do so. But it's good to see this play pushing up. It's got some activity, and it is interesting to see it. Chris, medium duty electric vehicle share leader, Lightning e-motors going public in SPAC deal. Romeo System, is it an EV play as well? For some of you guys that know much about it.
First time I've heard about it.
Oh, you haven't heard about Romeo Systems?
Nope, never heard about it.
Yeah, I've been playing. It's been pretty good with momentum lately. Um, it's a EV battery maker is what it is. Yeah, I thought it was EV Sector. Okay, so merger with EV battery maker Romeo. Okay, so this will play right along with Blink, right along with Plug, and so on. I knew it was something to do with EV. Yeah, that's what it's in. EV battery maker Romeo Systems. So good potential on this one. I do like it. So watch that one carefully as well as an upcoming mergers coming in with that one. Roku all time highs. There is no stopping Roku. It was just a couple weeks ago we were looking at in the, the $250 range down here, and to see it already $100 up from that range is absolutely wild. But it's kind of funny. Times are changing. We're living in a whole different era of way of living. It's pretty much working from home, watching movies from home, eating out from home, and driving electric vehicles, I guess. So it is interesting to kind of see how different times are changing, and some of these companies are just blowing out of the water. Save is Spirit Airlines. I just threw it up here due to the fact that I like to watch airlines right now, being hot this week. SBE. This is the other battery sector play, rechargeable battery, whatever sector play. This is a SPAC as well. And when are they having their shareholder meeting? I'm not sure. I don't think it's posted yet. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Or maybe it's already happened. But anyway, it's interesting to see this one too. So watch this one closely. We've had it on the alerts a few times. SCDG, okay. What's got my attention up here? It's a solar play. I threw it up out of my solar watch list today due to the fact that we're up here at these all-time highs. I want to kind of see how we treat this area. If it looks like we're going to push and break, we got 3 days. We got 3.5 days of trading this week. So we could easily have that happen this week. SKILZ, this is the skills. This is the SPAC that just got the merger and ticker symbol change. We had that insane day on Thursday and kind of a pullback on Friday, but it literally deleted like not quite half the gains that Thursday gave it there. So I think still potential to maybe even come back, but we'll watch it close as well. I think I've got this charted on the hourly. No, don't got this one charted at all. So I'm just paying attention to it. I know JSB and Kriegs and some of the others have been talking pretty heavily about this one, so watching it as well. Snap, kind of watching it due to the fact it's at these all-time highs. No play there really. Snow, I'm watching it for the reverse. Solo, this is another EV play I like. Looks like it's starting to reverse, so I think this one could be hot. Options are nice on this one. It's a cheaper stock and has cheaper options. So some of you guys that like some of these cheaper plays, you can play pretty close to the money with January 15 options expiration. You have plenty of volume. Spread's only 5 cents. The delta is freaking 48 cents. So they pay massively, okay, due to any significant move on solo. So I've played this one in the past. When it makes a big dollar move or $2 move or $1.50 move or 50-cent move, those options are paying pretty well for as cheap as they are. So watch this one closely. I'm really liking this one actually for tomorrow. I think this one's got a lot of potential into tomorrow due to the fact it's ready to break out Friday and Thursday's high. Okay, we got 2 highs there. We couldn't break them, but we closed higher on Friday. So I think there's a good inclination we could break it right there, 751, and then start looking for these next targets through here. Okay, breaking some of these levels, 816, 786, 857, and so on. So obviously this right here will be a pretty significant break if it can get up there, that 816, because that was the previous high to where it pulled back. So we get up there and we don't break it, we could easily pull back again and then finally break it later on. Or just go ahead and, smash through it as well. Who knows? But we'll see. I'm liking this setup on there. Space has gotten faltered pretty significantly, so I'm just watching for a rebound. SPY, you guys kind of see the significant pullback we had on SPY. When you look at futures right now, we're kind of flopping between red and green to flat. Earlier we were down 100 points. Now we were up 100 points. Now we're back to pretty much even right now. So it's kind of all over the place. It's even choppy in futures after hours here. So we may be in for a choppy day, a choppy couple days. But we're going to go back to the monthly chart on this one here and see how we're doing. I mean, so far we're still above the monthly trend line there for December. I go to the weekly. We're kind of flat for last week, so this next week we could have a red week. We'll see. The daily, obviously, it was definitely a red day. Excuse all my lines there, but I got to find those daily supports because it can be pretty crucial to know where SPY likes to bounce playing puts. But anyway, it's pretty interesting to see how we did. We did fall pretty hard, but did come back up pretty significantly on Friday. You guys can see it right here, where we fell a bunch, pushed back up, pulled back down, and fell back, and then pushed back up. So we'll see exactly how this one holds going into tomorrow. Market sector strength, market health, period. I probably won't be trading SPY at all unless I see a good opportunity, but for the most part, I'm just watching it here. SQ, I want to throw this in the same sectors, the Bitcoin and the bank stocks, PayPal, things of that nature. They all are associated to a little degree here. We did have an inside day on Friday. Could break the 237s. If not, we could actually start pulling back on this one. But good potential growth on this one. TAN is a solar stock. It's all-time highs up here. So watching this as we continue breaking levels. I like it. So being solar could be hot this week. All right, so Tesla, big name everybody's been waiting to hear tonight. This was pretty insane Friday, okay? We hit 695 at close. I mean, it just shot up out of the woodworks, okay? Obviously, you know that the S&P 500 inclusion is going to be posted here on Monday. And I'm curious to know if they actually got it in the heat map yet tonight. I'm not sure if they do. I don't think they do. It was replacing a few of them down here. No, Oxy's still in here. So they'll update it here, and it's going to be interesting to kind of see what sector, or I think it's going to be in the consumer cyclical right here. I think it's in the consumer cyclical. So it'll be up here somewhere in this sector right here to see where Tesla is and how big its block is. But it'll be interesting. It'll be up in this area somewhere. But that won't be obviously posted till tomorrow. So tomorrow will be its first day of trading in the S&P 500. But it was nutty, man. That I wasn't in it. I only played an overnight from from Thursday into Friday morning and banked very nicely off my options overnight on Tesla. But look at this, guys. There was no trade. I banked off of this move right here is where I sold my options into from Friday's move. I think I bought them at 20 something dollars and sold them at 40s, 30, upper 30s. I think upper 30s is where I sold them at, nearly 40. And of course, we went through all this chop, but this fiasco into close right here, where they did a complete royal flush and a bounce all the way back up here, is just mind-boggling. Okay, I never saw that kind of movement on Tesla in a long time, unless it was some kind of tweet or some kind of significant news or something. But to see it do that right there was complete whiplash. I mean, look at this. We dropped all the way back down. We went all the way back up, went all the way back down, then all the way back up in that final candle. So options got freaking effed up pretty massively right there. So I know some people are holding some longs, and they were asking me questions like, man, my options are all over the place. What do I do? I think Monday's going to even this one out, guys. I don't think it's going to be toast. So we'll watch this one into tomorrow. Let's see what kind of action this one has, but I think it's going to balance out. We'll see if we break 695s or trade flat, but I'm going to have to watch this one for the first little while before I want to just dabble into options on it just yet, okay? But tomorrow will be its first day of trading, and then it'll just be a watch from there. TSM tech sector, just watching it, no interest yet. Twilio, new highs, watching it, no interest yet. Twitter's got my attention a little bit here. Options are cheap. We could break 56, then we'll see 57, 58. So watch those targets. It could easily break those areas tomorrow if strength decides to come in. United Airlines here, watching it with the airline sector as well. UPS has kind of got my attention. I think they've got earnings coming up as Y. And the chart is setting up. Let me see when earnings are on this one. Maybe they don't got earnings coming up. I thought they had earnings coming up. I may have to look back at that one. But chart is looking really good on UPS. I do like how it's coming up here to these highs again. So it may have a run up here. We shall see. VAL. This is one that's not getting a lot of attention, but it is Bitcoin mining in Brazil. I think they dropped some news Friday. That Friday after hours too. Let me see if it actually dropped it or not.
Yeah, the whales are buying that Friday.
Yeah, they dropped. It dropped Friday and after hours here. They dropped some kind of damaging news Friday. I forget what the news was, but it's something to the effect that they had some kind of fiasco happen in Brazil there, I guess, with their company. I'll have to go back and make check of that. But anyway, it did fall a little bit here, but I want to watch this one for potential growth. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, UPS earnings report is on January 28th. Thank you, Flat Belt. I knew it was coming up. I just wasn't sure on that date. Wells Fargo, watching this one as well with the bank sector. I turned on after hours here. You guys see it definitely pushed in a green candle. So watching it with banks tomorrow. Workhorse, watching this with EV sector tomorrow as well. It's kind of been on a side train right now. XPV, I like this one with EV sector as well. We'll see if this one gets some traction. You guys know every time it gaps up, it always comes down and fills the gap and then runs. We've talked about that several times. So if it gaps up tomorrow morning and then sells into the gap and then pulls back up, this could be an easy play again tomorrow. Zoom, nothing really attractive there yet. If it breaks some of these levels, it might get exciting, but I always keep Zoom on watch just in case. Zynga is pretty phenomenal. We talked about this one down here in the $8 upper sevens and $8 range a while back, and this thing has been on a roll all the way up here to $10. I think Kriegs is kicking himself for selling his calls earlier on, but we had some January 15th $9 calls, and they're deep in the money now and still going. So it's a slow mover, but it's a cheap option play for some of you guys that like the cheap options. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have for tonight. As far as long-term growth stocks I've been watching some of these non-leveraged ETF funds like ARKG, TAN, of course, which is the solar ETF, which we just covered a little bit ago. PPW, ARKW, and some of these down through here. For some of those that like these long-term growth, that really been phenomenal for you guys that want to hang on for something for months and months and weeks at a time. These companies definitely do pretty well as far as healthy growth for long-term management stocks. I've got some other stuff right here. That's where stocks I had set up last week. I've got banks. I've got watching a whole list of banks. Besides the ones I just listed tonight on some of the banks, easily some of these could definitely pop with it as well. Other than that, there's not really anything exciting to me at the moment. Of course, I got the SPAC merger plays right now. So as these continue to keep going, these are my top favorites that I keep watching for possibilities. AMCI has been pretty phenomenal, so we can't throw that one out completely. What is After Hours? Oh, After Hours is actually pretty good on that one. I may have to throw that one on the list this week. Pay a little closer attention to it. Go back to that list. DMYT has been pretty good. GHIV, we've been all watching this one closely. IPOB has been pretty good. And then, of course, IPOC has been pretty good. Did a significant move off of pumps. LAZR is starting to come back a little bit too. Watching this one closely. LSA, this is a gambling stock with D King and Penn. LFAC is starting to get a little action. But yeah, I like watching these SPACs. I don't necessarily trade them much. I don't really options trade them, but I look them as potential growth stocks for common shares. But some of you guys that like to play options on them, they do pay actually pretty significant. Man, QS is setting up again here. But anyway, guys, that's all I had to share for you all tonight. If y'all got questions, go ahead and comment in the chat bar here. FSR, yes, I can take a look at FSR. FSR, I do like it with the EV sector. The only problem with FSR is it's going to be 2 years before you get a significant catalyst. This is why it's got this one on a very impatient roll right now. Fisker has a lot of potential growth, but he's telling everybody it's like 2 years, like 2022 or 2023 before any significant new news could come out for, obviously production and, new cars on the lots and people buying it and this and that, new sales numbers and things of that nature. He's not misleading investors, but there's no rush on FSR right now. I've got long commons on this thing, and that's the way I'm looking at it. It's a long-term investment right now, but it's not really a day trade. But if there's some tight candles, like we got an inside day on Friday, if it puts in a shorter candle Monday and then breaks out Tuesday, could possibly give a pop in there. But it's a hard stock to day trade, to be honest, due to pumpers obviously pumping in on every move they can and then dumping it and then letting it do its thing and then they'll pump it again. So it all depends on when they decide to pump it, but not really any technical patterns or breakouts on this one. Lockheed Martin in space, Ben. Yeah, LMT will sell tomorrow, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some equal volatility on both of those.
So yeah, with that new buyout tonight with AJRD, this will no doubt pop tomorrow. But Lockheed Martin will most likely sell off that news. But we could see some support down here. We'll see if 346 happens, or we may even get down as low as 339. Are you holding anything on this one?
Yeah, I got commons in space, but on Lockheed, I got nothing.
Okay. Yeah, commons. I don't know. Maybe those levels may hold if it gets down to that low. It seems like always the buying company sells off, kind of like CRM and Work did.
Yeah, and Lockheed's known for layoffs too. I mean, it could be double bad news in 1 week.
True. Yeah, 346 is right here, or 348's down to 339 is where I'd be watching those levels first. But nothing really exciting on that one. Space is still falling too. To see where that one's going to start finding some ground. I would have thought it was going to be right there at 24.49, but looks like it's starting to creep on past it. We could finally start seeing some support around 22.5, maybe. I don't think much lower than that, surely. I'll throw in another trend through here. I've got some lows there. I've got some lows right here. I don't know if that'll play out at all, though. Yeah, we could definitely continue on down if it's creeping past here. But what's good about that candle right there is they opened and closed it pretty close. Let me see exactly how that's not like an inverted hammer hanging man on the daily. Yeah, it did close below the open. I don't know. Could continue falling a little bit more. But I could be surprised and it could have a complete engulfing candle straight back up tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering if it's going to cancel that last candle out.
If it does, it's in good shape to start a reversal. If it can cancel that out, break Friday's high, you'd be in good shape to maybe start its reversal. Could be. Cannabis industry as a long-term prospect, Mohinish. Yeah, that's possible. Commons and options, GRWG, CGC, etc. Yeah, everybody thinks long-term, but what's bad about the weed sector right now is that they're known for pops and then drops. Okay, it seems like they always get brought up in news to some degree, and then all of a sudden just get on the back burner. So, sure, there's long-term growth for some of these companies, but just play carefully with some of the oddballs out there like ACB and Cron and some of the others. But GRWG and CGC is probably the better ones that you got mentioned there. GRWG is actually holding up really well. This chart actually does not look too bad at all. Could potentially have some good long-term growth on that one. CGC's got a little bit more comeback on it. ACB, just crap. ACB is just crap. Cron, yeah, it's coming back down. This chart actually looks similar to CGC. Tilray. Just pure crap. But yeah, GRWG, best one out of those that you mentioned right there. I like that. That's actually a good chart, good looking chart. I'm gonna actually have to add that to my weed sector if I don't already. I don't have it added. How do we dang? That's a good looking shot. APAH is actually not too bad. It's flagging here. MJ flagging here. IGC looking a little rough there. But yeah, long-term perspective, weed could definitely be blowing up this next year. For anyone who's asking there. Chegg. I have not traded Chegg before. I know Clark loves Chegg. Is this the education stock here? I think it's something to do with education. Like at home education. Raises price target. Oh, they sell books. Okay. They got their price target raised to $96. Okay. It looks pretty good, Baboon. It's not a bad looking chart. It's come back pretty strong here. It had 2 neutral days, Thursday and Friday. It's showing that demand and supply are kind of breaking even here off this triple top area. We start breaking above that, it could definitely fly. I kind of like that setup actually. I've not traded it though, so I couldn't really give you a lot of experience on it. But it does look pretty good. Options on that one, just out of curiosity. Let's see if we do break that $89, $90 area maybe. You could probably throw in a $95 calls for out there in January. Yeah, they're not bad. The volume's a little low. Interest is there though. That's actually not a bad option. If we get strength and break it, I'd go all over the 95s for January on Chegg. I like that if it gets up here and breaks that 90, that 89, 92. Nike. What happened to Nike earnings? I think they did actually pretty good. What's it look like in after hours? Okay, it shot up in after hours. So it's up here in after hours. It's gapped up to 145 right now. Lopez breaking. It's at 145 right there is where I've got a resistance at. But I think they did pretty good. Tomorrow, though, it seems kind of funny. Like you guys see the big gap ups on some of these earnings plays. Nike sometimes, though, I've seen it actually run. After it breaks earnings, it'll actually run and keep the gap. Then come back and fill it later. But just watch it tomorrow. Earnings plays have been typically selling off after the gap up open. So it could sell off tomorrow or it could actually continue. But just be careful on that one. That is a nice move if you're not already holding, or your IV crush could actually happen for you, for some of you that are holding. FAS, not familiar with that one, but I'll take a look at it. Financial Bull. Oh, it's a 3x ETF. It looks good. As long as the bull market's in your favor. To playing the financial industry, was it XLF? As long as XLF continues to do good, this will probably do good with it. But Banzilla, you'll want to pay close attention to XLF, okay? Which is the financial ETF period, okay? You see how the chart is almost identical. The only difference with FAS is it's a 3 times mover than XLF, okay? So the charts look almost identical. If you're already holding, you're probably in good shape due to the fact that banks are going up. So you'll be in good shape as long as banks are doing good. FAS will do good with it. And then, of course, XLF right here will do good with it. Of course, in after hours, they're both up. So as long as banks are doing good, you'd probably do fine on this one. But just be careful to get out because it is a 3 times ETF, meaning it's going 3 times the amount of movement. Okay, it's like a 3x. It's almost like an option play. I think you can play options on FAS probably, which amplifies the move that much more. Let me see what these look like. Yeah, you can play options on this shit. They're really low though. 21-cent low, 47-cent high. Options look terrible. Let me see January 15th. Yeah, options look terrible on this one, Banzilla, due to the fact that it's very low volume. The spread on these are actually not terrible. Delta's really good. That is not bad. If you play these, just play a few contracts at a time if you do. Yeah, that volume is rough. To be honest, I would feel more inclined to play commons on this. If you don't mind playing $59 a share, grab you affordable amounts of shares, and as long as the bank sector is doing good, you can actually do really well on some of these. But if you rather, you'd probably better off buying common or calls on XLF. XLF will probably have you more volume on options. So let's take a look at that one. Say we do January 15th, $30 calls maybe. They're 20 cents. Yeah, you see how much better that is right there? 32,000 volume. And your spread is 18 cents to 21 cents. They're super cheap calls. I mean, if you wanted a little bit more protection, you could even get like March $30 calls, and you're paying 72 cents, 79. And the volume's really low on those though. What's February look like? Yeah, low volume there. But the January's looks like the January's is where it's at. $30 right here. You just gotta be careful. That spread can be a little bit tricky. 18 to 21 cents. That is a little bit rough. The low is 17 cents and the high is 25 cents. So there's not a lot of money to be made there. XLF is going to have to be pretty significant move, but it's obviously going off of Friday's action, which was a teeny little short candle. Okay, with all that after hours volume, those will most likely get a lot of traction tomorrow. Of course, you want to see how we break up through some of these highs. 29.81. 29 or even 30s up through here, 30.58 as we continue grinding higher. But as a whole, I'd rather play XLF than FAS, being a 3x ETF. Just my personal opinion. Any other stocks or questions, guys? Oh, Bidu. Ben says HYFM. I have this listed in my weedless hydro farming. Not familiar with that one either.
Yeah, they're an IPO. They just launched a couple of days ago.
Okay. Yeah, it is a brand new chart. Let me throw that in my weed watch list here. Keeping eyeballs on that one. Has it got options yet?
No, not yet, but I'm pretty sure it will because of the price it is.
$50 or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll be watching it. Yeah, there you go. Just stopping by. ARK is phenomenal. I've got that one on my my long-term ETF list. Playing actually my favorite one right now is ARKG. That one actually plays better than ARRK. ARKW actually does really well. If you go through my list here, ARKG has been doing some of the best, and ARKK is doing very phenomenal as well. So any of those ARKs are definitely doing good. IPO is really good. iBuy has been really good. Look at this thing. It's been continually grinding. PBD has been doing really well. ACES is doing really well. KGRN, ONLN. All of these non-leveraged ETFs have been phenomenal. If you like to play some of those, Banzilla, they even got options too. So you see iBuy. I'm really liking iBuy lately right now. But you look at iBuy, you want to play options on that one. Amplify online retail, okay? January 15, 117 calls. And not much volume on them at all. No volume on them. I'll be dang. Never mind. No volume on options for those. Of course, we got TAN. This has been a good one for solar ETF that's been just blowing out the gates. See how options look on this one. Some January 15th, $100 maybes. That's not bad. Volume's a little low, but it's not bad. Good spread. Most likely continue grinding for you pretty good. Beidou. I'll check out Beidou here. I'm watching it. It is on my watch list right now. Flat belt. It's trying to decide if it wants to go higher or go down. It's kind of flat right now, in my opinion. But if it starts breaking some of these levels, it'll most likely run again. $200 roughly. EA, Electronic Art. This may go along with my other one here, ATVI. I'm watching this week too. Yeah, EA is not a bad one to add to that list too. Futu for a swing, Mike. Futu, what is Futu? Futu Holdings. I guess I charted this one not long ago. When did I chart this one? Maybe I charted it for you. Baboon is why it's got it charted here. Or maybe I got a question about it tonight. I'm trying to think of when I charted this one. Anyway, yeah, Futu looks good. Futu looks good. It's almost identical chart to JKS, unfortunately. That pattern is not deniable right there. It's almost identical to JKS, where we kind of found a bottom, a descending triangle, if you will. I like kind of playing some of these descending triangles here for potential for back up for breakthrough. But look at that pattern, and then I'll take you to JKS, and you've got a similar pattern as well. You see that identical pattern, so it looks good. I like Futu. If it reverses here and starts grinding through this upper trend line, looks like it's trying to Thursday and Friday. Monday could do the trick tomorrow. 40s. Let's take a look at options on this. $45 calls. I like them. January 15th. 330, 350. Not a terrible spread. 289 was low. 420 was high. That's actually not a bad option right there. 45s for January 15th is what I'd play. On the breaks, let's see here. And I'd love to play on break of that upper trend line. Moment it breaks, maybe that 44.15 right there. Like right here. Breaks that little stint right there. I would shoot for that and then shoot for that as a target. And if we broke that target, then I would start looking for these next opens and closes on some of these candles here for another highs is what I'd shoot for. But that's a good potential swing. If we can get above that upper trend line right there and potential swing it, you might be in good shape right there and still be fine on those January 15th. If you need a February 19th, you could easily do them too and pay a little bit more for them. You probably get away with 50s though. Yeah, probably $50, $3.90 to $4. They're not bad. Volume is a little low, but manageable. 55s for February. Yeah, those aren't bad either. Or January. 55s, what do they look like? Oh yeah, you got volume there. That's not bad at all. Dollar low, $1.40 high. That's a pretty good option actually for January. I'm loving that volume and open interest. Not a bad option at all for 50s. I actually may have to play that with you there. I'm gonna throw this up on my list tomorrow. I like that one. Don't know anything about it, but hey, when the chart speaks to you, it speaks to you. Any other questions, guys, before we call it a night?
I got a question about charting.
What you got?
All right, so I'm trying to learn how to do this. So I got as far as down charting the daily chart, but when I get into the minutes, I'm getting kind of confused on, how far should I go back, or am I just charting out the previous day?
As in resistance and supports for...
Yeah, as in resistance and support.
Well, the best way I can tell you is clutter up your chart on the daily as much as you can with resistance and support lines. So you see what yesterday's open was, which is that green candle right there. I want to put a line there. I want to put where our close was right there. I want to put that high right there. I'm going to put a line across that high. So you want to have as many lines crossing that daily candle or previous daily candle based off of these highs and lows of previous days. So right there is a high on there and a low right there. The more you have it rampaged on or areas of where resistance was, which I'll stretch this out so you can kind of see a little bit more. But here's a high, there's an open, or I mean that's a close, and here's a close, here's a low, here's an open, there's a close, there's a high. And as long as you get a bunch through there, you can pretty significantly narrow down your lines. Which platform are you using as far as for charting?
I got TrendView, and I'm also getting the one you're on right now.
Okay. Well, what's nice about TrendSpider here is when I chart these on the daily, it transfers over to a 2 minute or any chart frame or time frames below a daily. So if I can,
when I'm in TradingView, it does that too. But when I transfer over, it's spacey. So
okay.
I was wondering, when I do transfer over, how do I start charting in the lines for like the 2 minute, the 3 minute? Am I just charting out that previous day? Or am I going further back on the 2 minute chart?
No, you can go back on a 2 minute chart. Like right now, I drew all these lines based off of these highs and lows. And let's go ahead and take a look at 2 minute right now and see how the supports and resistance play out here. So for the most part, it looks like it plays out pretty good right there. We have our low. We have our low right there. We have our highs there. We got a dip low right there. We got our high there. We got some lows here and then highs there. Lows there. And obviously lows here. So they're hitting all my lines that I just drew on those daily candles by cluttering up that daily chart.
Okay, so I'm not putting enough in there. That's what.
Yeah, maybe not enough. Or if you have to, you can go back. If there's previous days that overlap your current day, you can kind of just tweak these lines. So if you want to tweak it in there and say, okay, that was a high there. I could go back here a little bit lower and say, oh, this line was a little bit more prominent at this low here. So I'll adjust it a little bit right there. This one I may adjust down a little bit more because it hits the highs here and possible lows there. You can tweak it a little bit based off of highs and lows off your previous 2 minutes if you don't mind doing that, or even adding a few more in there, and you can kind of get a drift. Too many obviously can be a distraction, but those lines, just use it as a suggested pullback. Just because, let's just say you grabbed an entry right here off of this resistance break or these two candle highs, and you hit this line right here, doesn't mean you need a sell right there or sell right there or sell right there. Just look for any sign of weakness. That's where you'll start learning this in class next month when we start covering candles. But when you start seeing that sign of weakness is when you can start selling, and then of course let it pull back without your money in it. Let it come back up and then re-enter, and then start looking for those resistance breaks again, which that right there definitely hit it to a T and then fell. But it takes time, it takes practice, and of course doing it on that daily chart has been the best advantage for me as far as cluttering up. You see how cluttered that looks up, but obviously when I zoom in, it's touching all those highs, opens, and closes and lows of previous candles, and then it overlaps over to that 2 minute, and then you can just kind of tweak it on your 2 minute and go from there. Does that help you out, you think?
Yeah, that helped me out a lot. Thank you.
Okay, no problem, buddy. Any other questions, guys? Multiple time frame.
Yeah, the only one I'm looking for cybersecurity right now is that team, because just the volume in the last 2 weeks on that thing have been insane. From 220 to 250 in those 7 days.
Yeah. Absolutely. No problem, guys. Well, if that's all for tonight, guys, get yourself some good night's sleep. Our last class for the 3-month session is tomorrow night. And then, guys, you got all kinds of freedom for about a month, and then we'll hit it up in middle of January again. But if you guys got questions, you guys know you can use the Discord channel all the time, chat in there, ask questions, whatever. And let's hit the live stream again tomorrow morning and bank off of these plays we just kind of discussed. There's obviously some new ones. We'll throw them out there in pre-market too if news comes out for something. But for now, that's kind of what I'm looking at for this week. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a great night, and I will see y'all in the morning.